Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to our live coverage from the 2016 Canadian Mixed Doubles Curling Championship. We are live at the Nutana Curling Club in Saskatoon. My name is Sean Joyce. Susan Lang with me.
Good morning and welcome, curling fans.
And Carrie Tarasoff, our producer, running everything to my left. We've got, again, a full slate for draw number 2 and just a little bit late getting started. The extra end in draw 1 and the schedule is tight. They had to get the ice prepped, so just a few minutes behind schedule here. There you see the list of all the games here that will be on the ice for draw 2. We're going to once again feature sheet 4. It is the defending champions, Kaylin Park and Charlie Thomas. They will be playing against Michelle Kruk and Jason Gunnlaugson. First end action actually already underway on that sheet.
Gunnlaugson and Kruk here with the hammer. So Kaylin Park started the game off here with a draw 2, the top button.
You can see here the standings in Pool A. Pool A and B were the two that played in the opening draw that just completed a few minutes ago. We're now into Pool C and D. There are 32 teams here at the National Championship. They're grouped into 4 pools. The top team in each pool goes through to the quarterfinals, and then there will be 8 other playoff teams. So 12 teams make it through to the playoffs, and at the playoffs it's single elimination, tournament style draw. So your first objective is to get to the playoffs, and then you can't afford any more losses.
Kruk and Gunnlaugson throwing the yellow stones. Michelle followed Kaylin Park's draw down. She's just off the corner of it. So Charlie Thomas now following down Michelle to try to come across and just get set up a better angle there for the red rock. Nicely done. This is our second draw of 6 draws today. For those of you who like to watch curling, we have about 16 hours of coverage here for you today.
Yes, and what we found with the opening draws, we had just barely enough time to fill the coffee cup, and we're back on. So if you hear crunching at the next draw, that might be lunch. We
saw a tremendous first game today. Lots of shots being made. We've seen swingy ice here. The ice is quick. Both turns curling. One turn perhaps a little bit more than the other, but all the shots in the book are available here for the curlers to use. Jason Gunnlaugson attempting the in-turn draw here to sit on top of the Park Thomas stone. Very nicely played.
Great shot to just
bumped
sneak
it a little.
by the guard.
I didn't think it was going to be by that guard. Yeah.
And we were having a few little issues with one of the mics during the first draw. It looks like we've got an issue with both red mics right now. We'll try to get that corrected in the break between ends.
With one of the new rule changes that was brought in for the mixed doubles competition, no longer do you have to have anybody in the house holding the broom for you. So watching the first draw here with 8 games going, and now here on to our second, we're watching all the various combinations of players holding the broom, coming out to sweep, or going down to join their playing mate and have the sweep available right from the release. So Charlie a little light and inside on that, trying to follow down Jason Stone.
Just rubs the guard.
All line, yeah.
We talked about a number of the rule differences in the first game. I don't know whether we touched on the fact that the pre-game draw to the button to determine last rock, because there's 2 players. What they're doing now is every team throws 2 rocks. They throw one with each turn. They do predetermine which player is going to throw which one. So you've got 2 measured stones, and it's the cumulative distance that determines who has last rock in the first end.
Well, we talked about some of the rule changes, but for a lot of us, we were still trying to figure out the first sets of rules, let alone understand the adjustments that were made to the game this season.
Oh, myself included, and I was provincial champion last year.
Well, I think the modifications that were brought in have certainly added to the appeal of the game.
You gotta really go.
And we'll talk about those as they play out here.
Boy, another really nice shot. They're oohing and on about those, but I think they ended up both of those shots in great spots.
That lineup. Because I mean, like worst case scenario, they guard for life and succeed, and they still won.
But only one side. You can still.
We got on both sides.
Yeah.
Then we got that shot, and we got.
You have one more, right?
I got one more.
Kind of fun. Jason, one of those massive weight hitters, sees all sorts of possibilities of just little corners of a rock. So he's lining up. He's figuring that Charlie Thomas here cannot guard both ways.
Line.
Again, the teamwork that gets brought in here, where different players have different capabilities, and then meshing that together so that it all works.
Just looking to get a guard on
so
this.
We're just gonna try and make like red. And if I miss a little thin, it'll be good still.
Like a 10? Or you're throwing a big your
Peel
peel?
white and red. Yeah. Just a little high.
Take a look here at a number of the rule differences, or the rules for this particular event. One of the things that I'm still looking forward to, we haven't had it on the feature game yet, the first one, and I want to see those measure, the measure with the laser. No more big clunky measuring sticks. They've got the laser. Of course, they've been using them a little bit for the draw to the button for the past few years, now using them for all the measurements in this competition.
So Jason loves to throw these kinds of shots. Big weight.
The angle run.
That's off.
Even that's not terrible. It takes the backing out from behind that red stone, so if they drive anything onto there now, the red one goes all the way
Very
out.
close.
Charlie Thomas has certainly had a very busy month here lately. As we know, he's just up the road here from Saskatoon, where he spent the last 10 days there as coach of Team Canada, where he had just flown directly in from Victoria at the Elite 10, where he had been playing, and had just come from Grand Prairie, where he had been coach of the Alberta Chelsea Carey team. So he's seen a lot of curling events these past 3 and 4 weeks.
And like 16
And as the defending champion, you have to think they expect to be in the mix on the weekend.
Well, they had a fabulous World Championship too, but like so many Canadian teams that have gone, have done so well in the round robin, and then that first game in the quarterfinals has eliminated them. So struggling to figure out how to advance in the world playoffs. There's certainly the talent here on the ice from the 32 teams that we're seeing out here to win world championships, but still figuring out that game at the world level.
Okay, so just
So gets the guard on the outside. Now
just a kiss high. Right on to here.
it'll be Michelle Kruk throwing the
Just
final
like
stone. and
Think I could get around
looking
with
to
the
run a
bumper?
red one back.
10-second hit. For sure, this is a shot.
Could probably get around with the intern with bumper.
No. It's not curling that hard. Because you got to hit it like
that's
a
overburied
third
by
of
half
a
a
rock.
rock.
And it's, what?
Just a hair high will go into yellow.
Yeah, just a hair high. Just like your a 10-second hit. We got to hit it 1 inch high.
She's got no risk here.
Half to
There's
1
no
inch
way
high.
she's killing the yellows. So if she can make
Yeah,
contact
it's
with that
half
yellow, the top
overburied,
4
like,
foot,
we're not getting that much.
it looks to me like it's got to be 3. I don't even see any way for one of those yellows to roll out.
Just hit it near nose. So
6 inches?
6 inches of ice.
Again, we've seen variations here where on these shots where it's a very precise spot on the rock to hit. Sometimes the person will stay in the house to provide the target, but
Oh my.
Jason
He's gonna
here
curl hair
for
late.
sweeping right off
Oh.
the bat.
Curl! Curl! Way high. Curl!
Got to get real close to the nose to have a chance on this one. It's still on the outside
She's way
guard.
straighter today. You threw that
Yeah.
pretty good. One red, I think.
And you hear him refer to straighter. They must have thrown that spot in practice yesterday.
Like it was one red.
Runs a little straight there. It will be a steal of one for Charlie Thomas, Kaylin Park. They dodged a bit of a bullet there. Chance for three.
Well, again, that is the downside of not having anybody in the house as a target room. You don't know what you did on that throw. Like, you don't get that second feedback to say, yes, you were a touch full, or maybe we picked the wrong target spot. So, again, a different level of challenge that is brought into this game when you don't have anybody in the house. Personally, I think it's great. I would never have missed the broom. If there's no broom to aim for, perfect.
That better?
But we did see in the first draw, a lot of teams did choose to remain in the house holding that target broom, at least for the first 2 or 3 ends, so that they could get the ice figured out. It might change as the competition progresses
they do have
here.
the option, yeah. The other thing that we had in that first draw, and it's just the way it worked out, is that they predominantly, regardless of which direction they were throwing, they only threw the one half of the sheet early in the game, and it was about the 5th end, I think. They had to play the other end, the other side, and found it was heavier. So,
and a lot more curl.
Yeah, we'll see if already here they seem to be playing both sides of the sheet.
So we'd said this is our second game on sheet 4, and this in turn was a little straighter than the out turn coming home.
Well, this one's certainly not running straight. This is going to curl.
Heavy, but
looks like out into the open.
Again, we'll hear if they talk about the rocks. We know when we had Jeff Walker out here on the first game, he thought that red number 7 stone was a little bit straighter than all the rest. So we'll wait to hear if there's any pickup here on any rock differences.
Of course, if they don't tell us which number they're throwing, it makes it hard to know. They do get to throw all 8 stones in practice, but then they have to pick the 5 that they're going to play with. So you won't necessarily see the same stones in play this draw.
yeah, it's really heavy.
And even if you do, you might not find the same players throwing them in the same order.
Whoa. Yeah. Go, actually.
Just a little heavy on that draw and didn't get the same curl that
You like this thing?
Kaylin got on hers.
Okay.
Comes by everything to the back 8.
Michelle plays with Darcy Robertson out of Winnipeg, and it has to be tough when your very first game is against a defending champion and some pretty high profile curlers. And Michelle is out on the Bonspiel Tour circuit, but it's always, getting those first couple ends, and here in this game, that couple feet heavy is just not going to work.
This is a different game than the 4-player game anyway.
Well, we certainly enjoyed the pace of play. It goes very quickly. Your decisions have to happen very quickly because we do have a time clock running in the background. 22 minutes to play this game for thinking time. And ends tend to get very complicated very quickly.
Charlie comes up just a little bit light there, but does
How deep did he
come
get
to
it?
rest full 12 foot.
Still figuring out draw weight.
Like
Charlie's
here.
been a little light on a couple of stones already.
Yeah, I thought on release it was just light because you just kind of let.
Doesn't
Usable
have
stone.
DJ Kidby sweeping for him, so he's got to pick up a couple
lots
feet
of room
more
to get by it.
speed here on his draws.
$28.
I think we're close, though. Hard. Don't go crazy. Cannot be heavy. Curl, curling hard. We're light. Curling hard. Whoa, you're right. Whoa.
It's got a nice line coming in.
Great sweep.
Tucks that around to be at least half
Yeah,
undercover,
I think that should be good with 15
His
seconds.
second shot, but he's got a good angle to get it towards that red.
He killed it. Because he knew he was light.
Maybe just a
He was
third
light, She was
undercover.
like, no, you're good. Like by split time. So.
Okay, the nice thing that we've seen about this ice at the Newtowna Curling Club here in Saskatoon is that
I knew I had given that quite
if
a
you
bit. Like,
do
the
throw
high
that
times,
nice back line or hack
to
weight,
burly 'cause
the
the line-
rock will
or
still
unless
curl
you-
and
Yeah,
finish
he
for
needs
you.
to
So
wait.
there is the
It's all
opportunity
wide.
to come around.
He cannot
This
be
rock
higher
is
or
about 90%
Or in
exposed,
break
but it will curl if your weight is precise.
Has to get at least to the nose here. He'd love to get to the inside. If he hits this on the outside at all, he'll put it onto his own stone. And this one's a long ways out yet.
All the yellow
Starting to curl now.
It's not going to move much.
It's a nice finish to get to the nose, nudges it a couple of inches.
Yeah, we gotta
Not
go
sure
this
who's
way.
shot
We're in
now.
trouble. Deep trouble.
Certainly close.
Yeah, we gotta go right to it. He's kind of got us coming and going here, but
Jason looking at the out-turn draw, and he
Draw
said
the
they had to
button
come
shot.
right to it. I'm still not sure whether he thinks he's shot or not.
what do you got?
31.
Go. We're close though. Whoa. Yeah, get it there. Hard line.
It does, but this really carry and hang. 1597.
This was the side of the sheet that we saw more curl on earlier. It was pretty close.
Might be just a shade heavier on that side early too. Charlie Thomas came up light on that side as well, and that's the stone that
Sorry.
Jason tapped there.
Very brushing. How you feeling?
Okay.
Getting the wind in or no?
By moving that red over, he
Go.
did probably take away the red-yellow in the forefoot there. Don't know that you can get enough of that stone now.
We're doing okay. Like, we're not playing super fast or anything, but we are playing fast enough.
Already concerned about the time clock. They did take a little bit of extra time there in the first end on Michelle's last stone, and in this game, 15-second discussions can add up very quickly.
It'd be really interesting to see how much ice he takes here.
So pretty much on the nose is what
Yeah,
Kalen's
looking
looking
to
for.
play the run.
And opting to stay and provide the target broom here. Tightening up the ice a bit.
Last year at the event in Ottawa, Charlie Thomas was one of the few that was throwing the big peel weight and still getting up to sweep his own rock. Looking for a little quieter here. He wants to keep the center guard, if nothing else.
It's really overcurled on him here.
Going to drive this onto the yellow. Still not a bad result.
Or do you want to hit those?
He's
Oh,
got
we're-
control of the top of the house.
We're in fried bananas here.
You can still freeze on that one.
Yeah, but if I'm not absolutely perfect, we're giving up like a billion. Like if I'm just short of it, he hits this on the nose, doubles and what. I think we got to hit and try and give it a shot.
Double up the top.
No, try and like dead nose the. And kill the back too. Then he goes there. Yeah, we're in deep trouble. I don't know. There's nothing good.
I don't disagree with them.
We can play that draw, but like we have to get to the inside of it, or like right to it.
Yeah.
We'll play it. The hit's not good. The hits just take all our rocks out. We could guard this side,
Their,
but like
their hit, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know what you'd guard.
yeah, we'll just make that freeze. Played in the bunch.
That weight would have got there. Maybe top four,
Ish.
but
It was light. That's why I curled. You had to go
close,
nuts to get a top four.
So we'll see if Jason can make that adjustment to his weight. He does. I agree. I think he was a couple feet light, and without two
6.
full sweepers going, you
Whoa, never that. Never.
have to be a little bit more
Never.
precise.
We're only sweeping a
Nobody's
curl.
using two sweepers anymore anyway.
No, that's for sure.
No.
Every once in a while you get the
light. Come down in
two
slow
for the
stuff.
speed, but not
Hard.
very often.
it's going to be a guard.
I know, hard. Make it curl. You're right.
I think he went a little wider on this
Yeah,
one.
hard
It
job, Michelle.
ends up lighter still.
Jeez. totally different path.
There you hear him talk about it. It ended up in a different path and a little bit heavier, but depending how this ends up, that yellow-red combination could leave him an interesting angle. For now, the key is the red, red, yellow, and depending how you hit it, it might even clip the one at the back.
Figure out which broom to
Mine was just money.
leave Charlie to sweep.
Well, if Charlie's the one that's sweeping here, if he's going to hold the broom, Kaylin may jump up and sweep this one herself.
And she does do a lot of that.
Yeah. It may well be that this team, and of course they've played this format before. Last year as the winner, the rule was you had to have somebody in the house holding the broom, but they may feel more comfortable calling line from the house, which is a little more traditional. The teams that opt to have the other player come down and sweep are calling the line from the hack.
She's got a piece.
It's close. Makes the contact. Does touch the back Yellowstone, but not enough to remove it from play. It is enough to sit two, though. And that yellow-red combination at the front, you might be able to play it and hold them to one, but I don't see how you're scoring here.
Wait a second.
Well, with that curl on the out turn there, you might be able
just hit
to
the 7 on the nose and give him 1. Which is pretty good here.
I think so. The best you're going to do is hold them to one anyway. I don't think you're going to get enough curl to actually score, even if you play that out turn curl.
Control. Like your normal weight, you want to hit on the nose, or if anything, a hair low, and just with like, but don't try. You just want to throw a 10. You just got to hit it on the nose or fat, like smack. It'll go smack, 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 smack. The 6 will go out. The 3 will go right into the 6.
Oh, and the yellow's out counting
and the yellow's out counting that one. Yeah, I think that's an easier. Because that draw is really hard to get shot.
So already the level of explanation required on where to hit everything is going to come back to haunt them. Already 7 other games on the ice are well into their third end. So this
these guys
time
might have
clock,
been the first one to get started too.
True. So time clocks by the 6th end are going to be a major factor.
But this has been well thought out by Jason, and I like the explanation, talking about only 10. The thing about this is if you throw it harder, when you do make that contact, that top stone actually could spin into the forefoot. So this is one of those cases where you don't want to come out of your shoes to throw this hit. You just need to jam the first one, and then that rock at the back will out-count it. You'll only give up 1. And the harder you throw this, the more chance there is you give up 2.
That was demonstrated by Kaylin's throw there, so she didn't throw big weight to make her shot.
Actually spins
there we go.
outside edge of the forefoot, so it'll be just the steal of 1.
Right, one red.
Kaylin Park and Charlie Thompson have a 2-0 lead as we play into the third. Really, I think that's the best they could do there.
I guess you want to take it easy.
Jason was talking the whole end about how much trouble they were in.
Well, again, it's always interesting that there are those players out there. We talk about it a lot, or we hear a lot about that capability of looking ahead 2 and 3 shots and seeing the options instantly. And Jason certainly does have that vision of what could happen. So he was forecasting that, as you said, about halfway through the end.
Yeah, Park and Thomas had all the angles that end.
Deep bananas, is that what he called it?
They didn't worry about getting shot rock till actually their last stone of the end, but all the angles favored Park and Thomas that end.
I think that's why you're like, I don't like this.
I know, I was a little bit worried about that shot. But
I was like, you just gotta hit it. You just gotta hit it anywhere kind of faddish on that rock with.
That was edge of rock and it just overcurled a hair.
Yeah, it curled like this much faster or whatever knows. Like, you know, just
well,
but like from here
as we know here in mixed doubles, multiple points on an end can happen very, very simply, very easily. It's hard to defend leads, so I think that was a really smart decision by Jason. Take your medicine.
Just overcurled nose.
live for another end. You're only down 2-0, where multiple point scores are high probabilities.
Yeah.
With the out turn, with the in turn, you probably need a hair more.
But again, the difficulty
Throws a
started
bit
in
more.
that end. Michelle's first shot went deep into the back 8 foot, and
Okay, let's make our draws. That's why we didn't do that.
the
None of
Thomas
us made our
team
draws.
It
jumped
makes a big
all over
difference.
that. Pre-positioning, just like in the regular 4-person curling, you need to own the front of those rings, not the back of the rings.
Well, and they've played to some of the stones in the back from what we saw in the opening draw, and you could get away with that, but you had to get to the face of the
Still good
opposition
speed,
stone. She slid by everything. That's where she got into a lot of trouble.
Right, bumping straight back,
Yep,
maintaining an
bumping is
angle
okay.
is perfectly fine.
But when she slid by everything,
All there, only line. Just got to miss the guard.
Nope. Nope.
Only line.
Nope. Curl if anything.
Ton of weight.
Curl.
We're through.
Nope.
sounds like she might be
it
heavy
high.
again.
Starting to pick up a bit of a curl,
Whoa, whoa.
but that same still back 12 weight that got them in trouble in that first end.
And, you know, that weight would have been okay as long as she gets to it, but when she throws that little bit extra weight, she doesn't get the curl either,
I don't know
and
if it's better
did
to
rub
just
the stone this
go
time, but
hard and try to make it curl more.
probably, if anything, made it better for Park and Thomas.
And at this
Like, I can
point,
only
too,
do
her
so-
shooter
let's
rolled
do
off
really
far
so
enough that
I'm
sort
not
of
gonna get
eliminated
that.
at this
Get
point
the
any in
inside.
off into the button.
That's
Yeah,
just all
they're going to
we're
have to make a
but
decision.
you
She's
just
either going to have to adjust and
little
bring the
more,
weight
hit
down
it
just a little bit, or they're
more
going to have
side
to tighten
back
up the
back
broom
yellow
to make
instead
sure
of
she gets to
top
the
of it.
nose. I'm not
I was
sure
trying to
how
make
they
curl
want
the
to
way.
play it. Different teams will have a different approach, but if
Right.
they're playing to bump that stone, she needs tighter ice.
Yeah, like weight better.
Oh, it's me already.
Really good as we watch Charlie's rock comes in here. Really good comment from Jason that he just said, oh, it's me already. Part of the rhythm and getting your team flow figured out
Okay, make a
is
Just
there
throw
is
the
only
pocket,
one
yeah.
rock and then you
Stem
do
the
go.
breathing.
That was one of the harder things to learn too as you're breaking away from the habits of normal 4-person curling.
Well, now a bit of an opportunity for Jason as well. Charlie Thomas just a little heavy on that stone, comes down,
22.
rubs
You're
off
close.
his own
Now when you go
and
crazy.
leaves the pocket.
Only curl on this
Jason
one. Only
taking no
curl.
time to throw this stone. No decisions here to be made, but he
bouncing.
certainly didn't waste
Did
any
not swing.
valuable seconds.
Ah, get it there. We're bouncing. Don't.
So this side not curling up as much as what
Well, again, he's
everyone is expecting,
a little
but
heavy. If he gets to the inside of the stone that Charlie just threw, that's fine. It just gets to the nose.
so that was just back 4-foot weight, but just enough to keep
Sorry,
it that little
Michelle.
bit straight.
Sits for
handy,
second
like-
shot right now.
I'm
Shot
4
stone
feet
red.
lighter.
You
It's
can
just
see
perfect.
Yeah.
biting a piece of the button on the
Still.
right-hand side of center.
And readjusted the pocket back there a little bit, but that
Yep.
has to be very worrisome for the Park Thomas crew as they have set up a nice little area there for
Well, both teams right now kind of
He's
tied to
good,
this
yeah.
out turn draw,
Find
and
the guard.
really the first team that can get
Trying
one
not
to
to
the
give up.
inside corner is in pretty good spot.
with the curl on the intern. That's looking pretty enticing also.
Yeah, not sure if he's looking at the weight to bump this or not. Definitely has to get to the inside. If he can get to the inside, bump it, and roll over just a few inches, he could take away both turns, really.
Hard to tell if he's picked a little tighter broom line on this, but this one is also staying out, but just easing into the curl here.
Definitely got tighter line coming into the house than the previous couple of stones. Looks to be a little light as well. Gonna come in there as a straight
Nice
draw.
shot.
It does get, it's either second or shot,
That's
so
that
Red's
it?
sitting
Yeah.
2 right now.
That's what we're gonna do with the rest. The rock.
It's about the same, and I'll just sweep it straight. And
Oh no! We gotta get the shooter. We're gonna hit it. We gotta get the shooter out of there.
Or you want to peel,
If we touch it, then we roll off and then he comes off. Of the
but it's in a
one.
pocket. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, but if he's on this, okay.
Like if you leave your shooter here and he runs in, that's
Like,
staying
we
there.
gotta hit this super thick, right? Which is
Yeah,
way
don't-
easier to do with weight than to try and draw and get
In this
perfect.
case, I don't think Michelle
we
and
touch
Jason
her
are
in the
looking at the
nose-
same shot.
he's still 2.
Yeah.
Throw it. They're
Okay.
still 2 throwing.
Peel then.
Yeah, just hit it high. kill these two.
I think Jason's looking
And,
at
like,
killing
it's not
the two
good for
reds.
us, but
Michelle
at
was
least
looking
it's
at
not
just killing
too
one
bad.
and sitting in the button where
Quarter
the
rockets,
double wouldn't have
like
been
this.
available because the other red would have blocked it.
Well, I kind of agree with Jason. Those two red rocks right now are actually quite. The pocket isn't helping him as much as what it was 2 shots ago. Again, you have to play to your strengths.
Well, yeah. The problem with making the shot is you're going to end up right in behind that red stone that was just delivered, and now how do you score 2? I don't know if he could. Maybe he can hit this right and spin it up and move that rock a little bit.
Me too. So that wasn't so bad.
Well, he got enough to spin up to touch it, but
It's a little
again, now
scary
that
standing
red
there.
stone is essentially frozen.
But it does open up a lot of
That worked.
scoring
Yeah,
potential
like, it's not
here.
good for us. It's less bad.
More so than what was there before.
Oh,
It's good that we didn't.
I mean, he was
kill our
looking
yellow,
at 2. He
we
had
got
to
that,
do
like-
something.
but like his top pot one's pretty hard to ever get out.
Wow.
2 shots away from that.
Much better.
well, you are 2 shots away from it, but in order to try to steal,
Like if he misses,
Kaylin Park
still
and
kinda
Charlie
need it,
Thomas
but-
will have to move that stone here, so essentially they could be making the first shot for you here. He's got to get to the face of this. Any kind of angle, he might leave a double on the reds.
The other side, or just guard him again. They do have this double though, like it's hard. But
That's tough to not.
touch
Touch
their
the
own. And
red.
if they touch their own, they're in for too easy.
He's got a nice line coming in, wants to get right to the face of his own. He'd love to bump it, but they had to wait maybe a little too long on the line. Boy, that even overcurled at the end, but puts it on the face of the red.
Jason's
Kinda
looking
got
at the
us
run
coming
back
and going
here.
Now. This shot's pretty hard, but it is possible.
Want to guard this side?
Yeah.
Because it looks over buried on the intern, so he's
yeah,
gonna.
like a tight guard on that side. I guess they can use it then, though. Yeah, just a guard on that side. Just lob one.
You know, it's interesting. They're
protect-
talking
The thing is,
about
if she plays
guarding
the
it.
intern
I'd
with,
be
like,
tempted to rip
control
the
of board
guard.
or whatever, and hits her red, like
He plays
you're not even gonna
that,
shot.
he might leave you a triple for 2.
Right. So I don't know. We could play the guard on the nose, but likely you're gonna play a hard shot for 1 then. Yeah, we'll play a guard.
So at this point, protecting their shot rock. Trying to make sure that Michelle doesn't have
46.
2 red rocks
Just clean
to
it.
look
We're all
at
there.
on her
We're all
last
within the
one.
house.
3,
Not really, but
2.
it's gonna have to curl some. Only curl.
And I expect they want to overlap this a little bit so that there's not a straight back run on the red.
Well, exactly, because
And this has
right
got a
about now,
girl.
Charlie's already looking at this center guard run.
Yeah, they can run that back fairly risk-free. Don't even need to throw big weight at it.
Probably just playing to the
That
side
hack
of
weight is there. Pretty tough. Normal, like the same weight I just threw down
I
there.
was just going to say, Kaylin throws what she threw in the second,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
this should
It's like she goes low
do what
and
they
just
needed to
touches
do
the red.
and keep some rocks
separate it.
buried
Just
if
to
she
separate it.
knows
Yeah,
that
this-
they-
this is
double
fairly
free,
risk-free. If
yeah.
she hits this, if she ever were to hit it thin enough not to get anything, I don't know that Michelle has a shot for 2 anyway.
You're probably
And if
just
she
playing.
manages to make contact with the stones in the rings, her shooter's going to stay there. She's going to be undercover.
Kaylin had
shooter
talked
will
about
be-
the intern hack weight, but then with
will
that,
be
her
with
shooter
that
might
might be
have stayed
close.
up in that top corner of the 8-foot, allowing a hit and roll into the button as a saver. So I think
And it's a tough shot. She can't see very much of that
no. So
middle
this
red
is
stone.
likely the highest probability. Kaylin,
I
an
expect she'll be very
outstanding
close
hitter.
on this. Called the sweep on early. Now backing away. She's close. Got the nose hit. Stuffs it. Oh, a little unfortunate the way they spilled.
Draw for 1.
But it does leave red sitting 3.
Intern
So
button.
at worst for Kaylin Park and Charlie Thomas, it's going to be a single point that they give up. And Michelle Kruk's going to have to draw against 3 to make it.
Worse when you made that.
And
At least we got the 4-foot.
this is a real tester because Michelle's been a little heavy on some of her draws. Not a lot, but you know, that back 8-foot, back 12-foot weight. So she's going to have to make an adjustment in order to get on the scoreboard here.
Well, this is almost an all or nothing shot. Those 3 reds are pretty equal around the edge of the 4-foot, so you probably either steal it or getting one here, or it's going to be a steal of 3.
That's right. Her only other option was the in-turn hit and roll in.
Yeah, a little more.
So a potential game changer shot right here.
It's very close.
Mine's good, but
Very
straight.
close.
Straight.
This is where we've seen it will curl a little more and be a little
Hard for
heavier.
weight.
So it's
Hard.
and the weight's coming down quickly here.
Well, she has to get around that stone at the top of the 4-foot, so they had to go a little wider in the first
Hard.
place. This looks like it's real close. Just that little difference in the path might have been what did it. It's going to come up a little bit short, and it will be a steal of 3. Charlie Thomas, Kaylin Park out to a 5-0 lead.
I just misswept it, I guess. Huh?
Just a little wider and it
Didn't
killed the weight.
slower, just like, yeah. Same as the
That's a gain where for just that little bit if Michelle had been able to jump in for the sweep on that. Last halfway in,
Don't
it
know if
might
it would have
have.
mattered. They were. It was a misjudge as much as anything because, of course, going that just that little bit wider, and you heard Jason say he just missed it. He didn't know he had to go.
Well, and that.
But they had to get around that stone at the top of the 4-foot, and that forced her just a little bit wider into a path that they maybe weren't quite as sure of, or maybe it was still a little frosty.
Well, I was just thinking that a second sweeper might have been just the 6 inches that they needed to at least start to count out some Park and Thomas stones. But again, Jason thought the weight was good.
Yeah, he wasn't real worried about the weight early, and
we don't have our stopwatches on it, but it just seems like, you know, with Charlie's rocks coming up a little bit lighter there too, that there's about a 3-foot weight difference from side to side.
It sucks. I thought it was good too.
Well, you should have been there. I could have probably gone a little crazier. I mean, you're only like an inch from it only being 1.
Yeah.
yeah, like realistically, that shot, she threw the shot well enough to make it. It's just they just didn't know the path well enough to sweep it.
Again, you know, another one of the challenges of 2-person curling is in situations like that, when you're used to a team of 4 people, you know, you've got 3 people's advice to get or their recommendations. Here you're just down to 1. So
good one.
it's you're out of your comfort zone again in another aspect.
She moved us. She like out or?
Kaylin Park brings her first stone right in. Gets a little bit of a tap there.
We were talking about modifications to the rules from what we've seen in previous years, and that's one of them.
We're all there right now.
Prior to this season, that initial rock placement was just behind the button. 1 freeze and you're frozen pin covered. They've moved the rock back, basically the width of 1 rock to the back 4-foot, such that even if you do freeze perfectly, the button is still open, and that's changed the game significantly.
Yeah, I thought you might see more teams try to keep that first stone in front of the tee line. We're not seeing that. Everybody's bringing it to the back, not afraid to tap a little bit.
I was hoping you could get it a little closer to nose, but it just wasn't.
We haven't been anywhere near the guard yet. As a team.
No.
Really. Like I wrecked, but only when it came up light.
We could probably go a little
So
tighter.
just, yeah, maybe a hair less.
So there's the discussion we talked about last time. Michelle did make the adjustment on her weight there, still didn't get the line, so now they're going to tighten up the broom a
That
bit.
weight's perfect. You don't want to throw it light, because light's like you threw a great weight. We just got to drive it better.
Or just let it go for a while, right? Like we're starting with the straight sweep.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I did sweep it a little early, yeah. So just don't touch it early, yeah. Especially when I see a time that's reasonable. Like, there's no reason I should have swept. Yeah, okay. I like that. It's the same thing, man. Because we're probably playing this.
So Charlie playing the in-turn draw down to the yellow stone, just trying to come across the face just a little bit.
Again, we're having trouble with the mics on this team. We'll try to get it adjusted during the break, but not sure if you wanted to bump these or not. As it is, you're going to have to go just to get it there. It's a little nudge on that stone. And our camera position on this particular end, we're at the back line, so really tough for us to tell who's shot rock.
So I'm going to take less ice.
Regardless, I think
I chop the guy.
Jason's got to look to move something. He's got to open up some room. They were already both at the other end, so they don't know who's shot as they set up in the hacks to play this.
I also find this very interesting in the game of mixed doubles. So Michelle just came up light on her draw on the third end. Now she has to bounce right back in the hack and draw the button on her first one.
Curl.
Normal curling is the skip.
Only
You've
curl.
you've got 10 minutes to get over that last miss that you just had. Here you've got 10 seconds to start up the end, and we've seen how critical first rocks are in this game.
Well, that's probably the best Jason could do with that one. Charlie's going to look to move some stuff here. That's going to kill the stone at the back of the 4 foot, I would think, and then at least Jason will have an opportunity perhaps to get that stone out of the button area. Right now, again, it's one of those situations we just talked about. It takes 2 stones to get it out, but Charlie Thomas is going to have to make the first one for them here, I think.
Almost back line at the beginning.
For the time, but yeah, that's no one's played that close to the like.
Maybe just looking to nudge in off of this. I thought he'd be trying to kill one of those yellows.
Solid second slow. What looks like a peach.
Kaylin, good sweeping technique. She's had to twirl around and basically push with her slider foot there. So that takes a lot of practice. Good work.
Make this and they all go. We should make all of them.
He got the nudge off, but where he left that yellow, there's room to come in off of it, and
Might have to help me
he'd probably get 2 reds going here.
Depending what happens.
Maybe 3 if he can hit the first one thick enough.
This is a Jason shot all day. This is, he can't get down to the hat quite fast enough to throw this one. Jason wants of YouTube notoriety with a 5-second 4-slammer hit he threw once. Here comes another one.
I'm really surprised to see him throwing the out turn on that.
This is where you're at a club that's, you're really happy you've got dividers between the sheets, those rocks that have been 4 sheets over on some other
where the broom
clubs.
was, I thought he was throwing the other turn.
I dumped it, obviously. It stood way wide.
Okay, you heard Jason saying that compounded the problem by sliding wide and turning it in.
Yep. Okay, what do we
That was
have?
actually a pretty nice opportunity to get out of some trouble there and build the end. Now they're scraping again to see if they can get the opportunity to score.
Again, having trouble with the Thomas Park microphones, so not sure here, but I would expect they'll try to play some kind of a guard.
Anyway, on the inside, we're going to get all the reds, at least 2 of the reds.
You come into the rings, they'll try to run back, kill as many as they can.
Well, I think he'd like to sit on the center line 8 foot here. If he can get buried, then that means Jason's got 4 red rocks to move off the center line. You're trying to get it curl. He certainly tried to throw T-line weight, but it's heavy.
Yeah, this is... He actually probably should be sweeping it there at the end. If they had left that a little bit higher with that line, it might have left him a triple.
But no,
As it is, I think he's still got to run the guard back.
Give you a shot.
Thinking ahead to hoping Michelle's got something open on her last one.
Well, it's a lot to ask for, but if you hit this just right, you actually probably could kill all 4 reds and maybe be sitting 2.
Well, this duo does need that kind. Well, this one's pushed inside,
we
so
know he
it's
won't
not
be
even
light.
close. Yeah, he just came right across that.
Thanks.
Like he was tight by about the top of the 12 foot before he let it go.
You do have to be a little careful where you play this.
So
But still, nice to have a 5-0 lead
Yep.
and protecting 3 of
You
yours.
could just move the broom on those too. If you're
That's called keeping the pressure on.
like more ice.
no, I'm just throwing it bad. Like it doesn't.
Oh.
It has
'Cause I'm
absolutely
assuming like
zero
you're
to do
not
with
throwing
curl.
at all, but
There's zero. Like I missed.
if
it
you're
this-
releasing them like that, then
Yeah, but that's not
Whatever.
normal.
that's fine.
That's just playing bad. We cannot change ice, so that's definitely not taking that as an excuse. I just feel that.
So
If she
Kaylin,
guards
fortunately,
the
has
wide
little
one, we can just hit the top one high
margin
side,
of error
and
here.
We
She
should get the 2 back ones to go.
as long as she
Yeah.
just gets on a center
Like
line
going so
somewhere.
hard, just nice. And if she leaves us the one he just Charlie
As
just
long
threw,
as
we
she
can
doesn't
I think she's going
come
right
down
to
to
it.
wiggle that and leave some kind of quad, I don't see how she can hurt herself here.
Right in the pile.
She's just piling them up.
Anything that stops short of those, probably good.
Just you
what
hit
if
it
I
on
know
Well,
those. You know the nose. They
and
all
then she
go.
moves it just a bit.
But I have to throw your weight.
No,
That's
you don't
the
have
problem.
to. You don't have to throw it hard. You just have to hit it dead on the nose. The rocks are lively. It'll all jump around.
You hit it dead on the nose.
Now-
3 of them
all
move
right.
for sure. The question is whether or not it catches the 4th one.
Like your out
Like we
turn,
need
the-
Michelle to give Jason that lecture, because I would
Into the
say his
rocks
last
and
2
hit it on the
shots
nose.
were
Honestly, if you hit it on the nose, they'll all go
overthrown.
easy.
Didn't need that massive
Edge of
weight.
the rock,
The
'cause I
accuracy
can
would have
call
helped him out
Edge
more than
left.
anything.
2 inches of ice, whatever.
Yeah, it's just hard to tell from
If anything,
our
we
camera
wanna
angle
overpull a little.
what the angle on those rocks is, whether or not
If we
it'll catch the
hit
back
it dead on the
one.
nose or a
You can
little bit on
definitely
my
get the
side.
first 3 to go.
Just with a 9.
You know that's a tough day at the shop when you're making a triple to only give up 1.
Well, if the quad's there, you could score. But the back one, you're going to hit it fairly thin. I don't think you're, you know, even with a rocket, I'm not sure she could get it out. But if she could get out of the 4-foot, she could score 1.
Girl.
Yep. Throw.
She threw it very well. Jason
Get
just
close
told
to the
Alana
nose. She's
just over
close.
her.
She's close. Got the hit,
What
and
a
it does
great
go by the
shot.
back
Great.
one, but
Only 2.
and jams at the
Only
back,
2.
so it will be another steal of 2. Charlie Thomas, Kaylin Park will take
I
a
guess take
7-0
it.
I think we
lead
got
into the
caught.
4th
More
end
on
break.
the nose. It overcurled, right? But I don't think we were going to get that one.
We missed the back one. Yeah, we overcurled it a bit.
2 months premature and a heart condition. One might say I was born to overcome challenges. I searched for my place in this world, and I found it here. This pebbled ice is where I battle now. I have my sights set on the Olympics, and I will push hard to get there.
Look at you, sitting there eating crisps.
They're chips.
They're crisps, and that's a curling toonie, and you're missing it.
I'm watching it.
You should be there with your king, feeling the cold of the ice, hearing the roar of the game, and drinking the cold, cold barley nectar.
You mean beer.
Barley nectar. Now get off your duff and live it live.
Curling Canada is home to the most celebrated series of curling championships the world has to offer. You've got to live it live.
Before there was ice, there was our hallway at home. I was always the shy, quiet kid who loved math. But when I saw math come alive in the geometry of the game, I found my passion and my voice. It's a game of precision, a game of inches. It's the equation that now defines who I am.
I don't love it, no.
I don't know enough about the one.
I would not take it, no. The only one that is a question mark is 2.
Welcome back to the Canadian National Mixed Doubles Championship here in Saskatoon, Utana Curling Club. We're just in the 4th end break of our feature game, so we're just going to review the scoreboards across the sheets. We have 8 games underway. Presently, Nancy Martin, Caitlin Schneider have a 3-1 lead over Ashley Uwasik and Mark Anderson. Emile Desjardins and Robert Desjardins from Quebec, leading Cherry Just, Derek Samogulski, 6-3. Julia Hunter, Alex Robichaud from New Brunswick, playing Don McEwen and Mike McEwen, and the McEwens are leading that 7-2. Sheet 5, next door here, Marlies Kasner, Dustin Keltoff, the Saskatchewan champions, have a 6-1 lead over Lisa Menard and Ray Baker. Danielle Inglis, Mike Anderson, the Ontario champions, playing Kim Tuck, Wayne Tuck from Ontario. Tucks have a 4-3 lead, former Canadian champions. Aaron Porter, Carrie Shue, Newfoundland's reps, playing Joanne Courtney, Reed Carruthers, and Joanne and Reed are up 4-2 in their game. And our final game on Sheet 8, Emma Miskew, Ryan Fry in a very tight game against Saskatchewan's Dondalee Dice and her son Ryan Dice.
And I had a chance to make my way down to ice level. We've got certainly one of the mics seems to be working now, and if we ever get time between draws, we'll see if we can get everything running smoothly. We've got a few tight games here, so it could be another extra end, and that's the thing. It's only 2.5 hours from start to start, and of course the pre-game practice is supposed to start half an hour before draw time, so the draw is really tight. I did happen to take a peek at the clocks while we were down there as well. We don't have a great camera angle at them, and both teams here a little bit tight. Of course, that's going to be a bigger issue for Gunnlaugson and Kruk. They're just, you can see it there, they're at 10 minutes. So under halfway already, and they certainly are going to have to make more decisions if they're going to get back into it. They're the ones that are going to be drawing. Everything is a little bit simpler for the team that's ahead. And especially when you're ahead by 7.
That is the exciting part about mixed doubles, is we've seen in other games the opportunities for teams to get back. So it's not over here for the Park Thomas. They have to be very careful and continue to curling as well as what they are.
Well, and they still have to keep their speed up too, because the difference in this game as opposed to regular curling, you run out of time, you lose. Doesn't matter what the score is, and it's not like the 4-player game where if you run out of time, you just don't get to throw anymore. The other team can throw all their rocks. You'd run out of time, you lose.
I'm going to throw the out-turn tap.
Gradually working in.
Right. Where do you
These ones are just directly in the
Which it does look like they are a little
bit. So Jason and Michelle opting to use their power play here to start the 5th end, see if they can generate some points to the corner and get something started.
So once again, you have the option to set up a corner guard setup, and the rock placed in behind is above the tee line, so that is an advantage already as compared to a positioned rock behind the button.
And we saw both teams in our opening draw opt to play the push on the guard, and it looks like that's what Charlie and Kaylin have opted for here as well.
So it's fine to lose your shooter, and Kaylin makes that perfectly.
Just a fucking rocket. Kiss big. Hardboard. Perfect.
There seem to be 3 options to start your first shot when that power play is set up against you. We've seen twice now where or in 2 games here where they're opting for that play that Kaylin just did. Another one is for a team to set up the center guard, especially if the game's a lot closer. And then we're seeing, and probably the least successful of the 3 is where you go chasing around that corner guard and attempt the corner freeze.
Now they go to the middle behind that.
Yeah, then that's okay.
And again, part of that, it seems natural to come around, but so little of this game is played with the broom placed on the center line going away to the wings that lots of times it's now all of a sudden here the 5th end and you're not quite sure where to put that broom. So that shot that Kaylin just played when you're so far up in the game gives you the best opportunity to keep control and minimize rocks in play.
It's rolling. Yeah, get it over. Looks like.
It's over the line.
Now they were looking to throw the corner guard on top of that stone, and this, I think, picked early.
Always seems to happen when you're down and you're desperate and trying to get in. This is when the worst of the bad breaks really happen.
Nobody's thrown that either.
So you can see those dots that are on the 8-foot lines there. Those are the places where players know to pre-position. Ahead of the competition, the officials will declare if you place at the closest, middle position, or furthest away from the house dots. So in this competition, the middle location is the spot where rocks are set up ahead of time.
No, they're using the one closest to the house, but there's 2 positions on each one.
Line's good.
Stone in front of it or stone behind it. So they're using the spot closest to the rings, but the rock position in front of that spot, so closer to the hog line. And again, they made the teams aware at the team meeting that, you know, if the ice changes through the course of the weekend, that can be adjusted. The officials will make a decision. They'll keep monitoring the curl, and they may adjust that as the competition goes on. But this is where they've decided to start.
Around the middle one, I guess. We could guard, but yeah, around the middle.
They tried the guard on the last one, knowing, of course, that Park and Thomas couldn't hit yet. Now the difference here is takeouts are now available. So looking to bring a second one in, and hopefully they can still set up their dues.
22.
That last
Really
freeze
close.
by over-curling that little bit.
Oh, no,
Yellow still shot rock.
Top T line. We're not near buried. Gotta be at least T line.
Yeah, they gotta make sure they get this far enough back that they don't leave a double.
Lost it.
Whoa,
Oh, this just died on her.
I thought it was there.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Actually ended up in a not bad spot. They did get second, and
We couldn't go
no
like,
double
if we're
really
top
available
4, it's
there.
an easy-
Yep. How much? Third. Third.
Well, Charlie might be looking at the double if he's looking at third, maybe trying to come onto the red, get the double that way, or into the red and get the corner freeze that way. Got big weight, I'd say he's trying to get them all. Gonna be a little thick on that first one, rolls across and out of play. But again, with a 7-0 lead,
You have that option
fewer rocks
to.
is probably good.
Well, that's just it. No matter where Charlie left his shooter, it was going to help Kruk and Gunnlaugson at this
A
stage.
little bit less ice, and obviously try and be a hair harder, but
So another attempt to get in behind this red corner.
22.
what do you got?
22.
Okay, close. Curl only. Curl only. Only ever curl. It's heavy. Or good. I mean, I guess good is a better word. Okay, keep it going. Where is it?
It's got much nicer line coming in here.
Oh, you gotta go like crazy. You got the line now. You gotta go like crazy. Never stop. You really gotta go. He's setting up the double. Go, go, go. Harder, Michelle, go.
Well, if Charlie can hit what he can see.
So I don't think I have enough by there.
That's it's a flat
even
double,
just-
probably.
Like we're up to 7.
Half
right?
might
Like,
get it.
I think so.
He's looking at the run.
would be the only way they would
Not
get
sure
three
that he
is
can
if
see enough
we,
through by it. He'd certainly have to flirt with that redstone. There's a better look at it there. Yeah, he'd have to come pretty tight by his own. Probably feels pretty safe that with this one he's at least going to make sure he hits the yellow. If you ever rub that redstone, you might be giving up 3 here. This way, as long as you make the first run back, you shouldn't be any worse than 2. And you could make the run double. It's certainly there. He can certainly throw it hard enough. And he throws these very accurate.
Well, he's got the option. He's outside here too. You can hit it skinny and get the other one, but.
And he made the raise double. Or raise and rolled over and corner froze.
Virtually the same as making the double.
Well,
do have a play on the 2 reds to keep the deuce.
Just like firm, like
Firm peel?
Sweet.
Out into new territory here, though, putting the broom down, just adding to the challenge.
They gotta deal with us at least.
It's one of the more open shots we've seen in this game.
I think actually he could probably play this either way. I mean, I know the one on the edge of the 12-foot is a little bit higher, but they're so close together. I think if you hit half to 2/3 of the first one, you could roll into that one. So he could play this either way, but I think playing off the wider one coming into it, and then he'd leave the 2 yellows lined up.
Straight. Straight. Oh, never, ever. Oh, God.
So this is straightened up and backed up on him a little bit.
It's just a little thin on the first one, catches the back end of the second, and that's enough for the shooter to spin out. Wouldn't have had to hit that too much thicker.
Thought it was going to curl, but it seemed to about halfway down, just sort of straightened up.
Good normal.
Probably about where it caught the break point for the other
More
turn.
than you would throw for that run.
See that quite a bit where it won't have a continuous curl all the way out to the edges like that. I don't think he overthrew that one either. It was nice working weight.
Again, comes down to the fact that you just don't play a lot of shots towards the corner, and probably didn't in practice either. This is only the first game for these teams, so they really probably haven't had a chance to see what it does to the corner yet. Couldn't play the other turn though, the guard was in the way. Kaylin Park looking to hit here, and she'd love to stay, but it's actually not critical to the force.
Gained the double bump there off. I think it was going to stay anyways.
And if you blank the end, you lose the hammer anyway.
So it didn't
or the
really.
choice, which in this case would be the hammer.
Is this that more weight that, or the ice?
So hopefully this rock comes into full 12, so we don't have to worry about anything.
What turn do you like?
I can throw the out if you want to sweep that side.
Okay. We know it better, I guess, mildly. Good weight.
Here,
So always nice to get on the scoreboard here, and I think it's one of the first time Michelle hasn't looked at a pile of red rock trouble.
Well, they'll be happy to get rid of that godforsaken
dumped
hammer.
it.
That
I have no idea.
Yes,
I think we're all
hasn't helped them out at all yet.
Not in the least.
Looks like back 4.
Should be through.
Back 8.
Stop, baby, stop. Stop, baby, stop. Stop. None of that.
Might catch a bit of a slide path here,
Grabs a
so
little
I think
fudge at
that
the top
helped.
4. It does come to rest in the back 8, and they will pick up a single point. They're on the board. Charlie Thomas, Kaylin Park have a 7-1 lead though.
97s are your T lines. 74s. But you kind of had that like a little different release. I was like, maybe it'll
I slowed it down a little bit. It also was my inside pack.
Yeah,
it was a little
no. So I was like, it's good. It's really going fast, but it's going to stop. I don't know. Great drop. That's what we needed. Change the momentum.
As you say, get rid of that hammer.
Now, momentum might not be the right word for what you've got going now, Jason, but
I think we'll do ours as well.
Yeah, it makes sense. I kind of thought you would, but good to know you did.
here comes the other power play. And so here in this game, we've seen both reasons to use it. Of course, Jason Gunnlaugson and Michelle Kruk were actually trying to generate some points. Didn't work out well for them, but you know, it's worth the shot. On the other side, Charlie Thomas, Kaylin Park, not as worried about generating offense here as much as keeping the middle open so they have a chance to at least score 1 and keep the gap between these two teams.
That's right. This is the defensive reason to use this corner guard setup.
Same, like edge of the 8 for it.
Should be pretty close, yeah.
And this is one of the changes that was brought in this year that I think drastically helps the game. Again, it's the game itself is in its infancy, but it was getting to the point where every single end looked exactly the same. And this changes it up a little bit. The two changes I think that were the most significant was moving that stone to the back of the forefoot as opposed to the back of the pin. And this power play, because they both changed the tactics a little bit.
Great job. That pick.
So another pick
Like,
stone there for this twosome, but it's over, it's in play, it's at least there.
No.
And only 2 draws in. This is only our 4th power play, but the first time we've seen that guard thrown up. And we did hear, talking to some of the teams last night, and heard a few teams talking about maybe their philosophy, I guess, so to speak, on how to play these situations. And I heard a lot of guys talking about throwing the center guard in on the other team's power play. So far today, this is the first time we've seen anybody do it.
I don't have to. No, or a heavy. Not bad, we're good.
So staying in front of this button is very important.
And it wasn't critical to get that buried either. She needed to choke that guard off a little bit. Of course, she can't hit yet on this one. And if they come around from the other turn, she'll be able to use that stone. So the key was to keep it in front of the tee line.
Well, and too, not even too deep into that top of the 4 foot. That's what we're seeing too, that if you come in too early, full 4 foot, you're working to your opposition's advantage. So very nicely positioned by Kaylin.
Yeah, just keep going. You're doing good. Doing well. Okay, well, we're good. We're good.
A beautiful tap back there
It's a really nice shot. Taps that stone just behind the tee line, and getting it on that slight angle. The red stone is behind cover, so if they get a chance to freeze, they could be not just frozen, but buried.
Because if I ever go by there, yeah, and if I ever go by there and get just the one in the house, right? Yeah.
So Charlie going to look to peel the guard, and the potential's there. He could get the double peel on the 2 yellows, but he's not as worried about the one on the corner. You heard him talk about if he ever is just a little outside on this and goes by the stone in front of the rings,
Here, lass.
he could catch the one that was just delivered. Well, he's got a solid piece of this guard and just going to roll his shooter out of play.
Looking for a little nudge on that yellow pre-placed corner guard, but
yeah, he wouldn't have minded the double peel, but I don't think that's critical. That's protecting essentially a counter for him. So the nice thing, you know, for the team with the power play here is the way these rocks curl. That corner guard's not really in the way of his draw path.
Oh, there. Never. It's only gonna curl and die. 2. Line's perfect. Line's perfect, Michelle. Line's perfect, Michelle. Overcurling.
so replacing the guard.
And guarding his own stone at this point.
I don't mind it. Right beside it. So what, like a 3rd?
Yeah.
Charlie Thomas will look to peel again. While he makes his way down to the hacks, we'll remind everyone our next draw, and we've had a few little issues with the times as they appear in the program and online and everything. It is at 1:30 Central Standard Time. Chelsea Carey and Colin Hudson playing that's the Northern Ontario champions, we think. Confirm that. And that of course is the tentative time. We were a little late
double
starting this
peel
draw.
and just about worked out for 2 yellow rocks. It looked like a pinball machine out there on Charlie's shot there. Just about worked out where there were going to be 2 yellows remaining. If that curled 1 micro-inch different, there's going to be a little yellow bump up on the yellow 8-foot stone, but it just all whiskered by.
So the decision here, you hear Jason talking through the options. He's going to throw the guard here, 1 more guard. They'll have to make a decision with the last one what they want to play.
Like he's going to get to play that, yeah. He's going to get to play the double, but so we want to freeze like just on the inside.
Put right to it.
So that he doesn't, yeah.
Oh, no, he's got to play the freeze here.
Touched it a couple inches, not the other. What? 34. Go then, hard. Whoa, just be a guard. Be a guard, be a guard. coming in the middle.
3?
I'm all wider and it's dead now.
3?
Yeah, make it curl, I guess. Or don't make it, yeah, it's just good. Hey, you're good. You're good, Michelle.
I think they ended up with plan B there. I thought he was talking about the freeze. Ends up with the guard, and there's nothing wrong with that. Charlie Thomas will peel that. Then you have a chance with your last one to come down and probably move that red stone. It'll be a question of whether you want to try to roll in behind and force the straight back double or just stay right there.
Still a very comfortable 6th end here for Park and Thomas. They haven't been in any serious trouble.
And no trouble with the straight peel.
I don't know, how do you want to, like, I'd like to just play like middle 8 and a heavy draw. Or you want to hit it?
Well, heavy draw's going to get out of the house, then you might as well just hit it.
No, just move it, move
it to back 12?
Yeah.
I think exactly, just move it enough to be third shot and give Kaylin 2 yellows to look at.
It's been the shot we've played a lot, right? Like not intentionally, but like,
yeah.
Like I think if you take here, like just throw like a freeze, heavy freeze, I'll just sweep it on line and tap tap.
Right, they're very experienced with this back 8-foot in turn. Thought that was a nice way for Jason to, yes, they've called it a lot, but they've ended up playing it a lot.
Needs to be sitting 2 when they're finished with this one.
Certainly to put the maximum pressure on.
And they're going to need a little bit of help.
Right, but
they know there's going to be a double available, but
Kaylin hasn't faced a lot of difficulty. She's had a beautiful run back early in the first end. But she's not looked at a lot of yellow rocks on her last rock, so this will be a tester.
Actually, the little bounce to the outside probably helps. That means the double's not real easy.
Again, this is a scoreboard call. There's no half shot on the draw here. Half shot, you only give up 1 on the hit.
Charlie wondering about the double. See, if this wasn't last rock, he'd certainly take a chance at that slash double, but
I thought he was looking at going for lunch early if Kaylin makes that one.
Now they're taking it on themselves to get the drawback on schedule.
As I say, the time clocks must be a factor because every other game is deep into the 7th end.
Yep. Whoa, 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 whoa. No, no. Curl, curl.
It's got to get to the nose at least. Center line side would be better. This is going to roll out.
That's okay.
So it will be a steal of 1.
Heavy, maybe. A little heavy, maybe.
Jason Gunnlaugson and Michelle Kruk now trail by 7-2.
Yeah.
So if this game goes 14 ends, they got. Otherwise, they're going to have to pick up the pace. 1 at a time isn't going to cut it anymore.
We'll see.
Still a daunting task facing Gunnlaugson and Kruk down 5 without.
Daunting, but again, not impossible. We talked earlier about some of the big ends that happen in these games, these 4- and 5-point scores, and big steals aren't uncommon either. Both power plays are gone, so you know the play is going to be in the middle. Jason and Michelle have to be looking to steal anyway.
Well, that's why I thought we had to sweep it to begin with. Because I just wanted to hold the line like I thought you would have been perfect.
And this first stone of the end is the one that they've had a lot of trouble with. They need a good one here. In order to set up a multiple steal, you need to get this first one in good place.
Well, that was the difference that we saw from this morning's game. We had Hugh Murphy and Laura Crocker throwing those first stones for their respective teams, and both of them played so well in that lead position that we had amazing, there's our time clock there, But again, it just highlighted how important those very first shots are in each end. And Laura and Hugh having outstanding games, set for a completely different game as compared to when one lead struggles, how it impacts so severely.
So Jason Michelle really tight for time here with 2 ends left to play, under 5 minutes as this end began. And this one, you know, they tighten up that ice and it's over curled on them. It's a little light as well. She does get the double guard out of it. It'll be a couple of stones before they have a chance to peel that.
But barrel of points. So.
What?
Okay. Yeah. 15.5.
Maybe light.
How's your line?
It's good.
Just at the end.
Yep, yep. Yep. Hard, keep going, you're really good. Hard, 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 hard. Hard, 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 hard.
Good brush.
Well, interesting where that ended up. They probably both go. I'm thinking that actually could get in the way of their attempted double peel later.
It does look like there's
potential for it to jam, yeah.
We're all there, but line's close. Hard line, hard line. They say it and then do the exact same thing. This might have picked, actually. I don't think I threw it that back.
So again, they've probably about the 4th time that something sort of picked on them or fudged up or just hasn't, or it's just died quickly on them.
Can you take a little tighter ice?
No. I took just like outside edge to the 8, so I'm pretty sure it just picked that one, but I don't know. It's pretty funny because it's like all of a sudden like, I'm nosing the guy with a fast.
A few more technical glitches, but Carrie's control board's gone completely dead, but it looks like we're still going here.
Well, we'll see if Charlie can avoid the jam here on this triple easily. The power of big weight and precision.
Well, it's getting real hard to steal a pile now.
I think you still have to put another one up front. Too early to come into the rings on that back 4 foot.
Well, I hear you, but I don't know. I mean, does a steal of 1 do you any good here?
At this point, I think you're still learning for future games. Is kind of what I'd be thinking. Stealing
you could learn with a freeze on the back 4 foot stone.
Stealing 5 to get to the extra end would, I would say, I put that in the Mount Everest of challenges.
22.
But they've really struggled with their draw weight and placement here, so I think this is what you take away from a game like this
Don't sweep, like we need to be a guard.
Is to learn for the next game. And short of
this one's going to drastically overgirl on them.
So it could be, you know, this is where you get your rock book out and figure out maybe you do have a couple of different rocks, and or maybe it's just the way you threw that they're just not getting stones to finish up quite the way they want.
Fighting with the broom a little bit too. Well, early on we saw a number of their rocks. It was both of them. Jason had said he had one that had rubbed, but other than that, they'd had too much line on everything. They've been trying to tighten it up now. Over curl.
Well, you're trying to make those adjustments, and it seems like they've brought their weight down the same time they've tightened up the broom.
And you just wonder, part of the issue isn't that, you know, you can see that time clock over there. You know you're tight for time, and when you start rushing. Okay, sorry about that. Looks like we're back up and running now.
So this time round, Gunnlaugson has drawn into the top button. He probably wished we'd gone off air sooner because we come back and briefly for Abracadabra, they had shot stone. Again, Charlie with that big weight easily removes
If you don't get shot rock, we will just quit. If you're frozen, we're good.
the draw that they put in.
Play it a million times. Play that out turn. I think you know it better.
Yeah, the other side.
The in turn.
Sounding like we might be very close to the last stone here, one way or the other. Heard Jason say if they don't even get shot rock here, they won't even make Kaylin throw it.
To the edge of the 8 ice then, because inside that is just.
Yeah, at least edge. At least edge. Edge is perfect. Yeah.
Yes. Technically, if you don't get shot rock here, you've pretty much run out of stones. You're at least 6 down.
Hard, get there. Hard, you got it. Girl.
No.
Hard.
Well, had to go all the way on that just to get to the 8-foot.
Story of their game.
That was the normal draw weight early in the game. It is a little slower.
So they are going to let Kaylin throw it. They've got one on the board now. This draw would actually mathematically end the game. She can put this into even second shot. She needs just a little better than
you're
full
still
8.
only top 8, which you need a 4-foot, right?
I thought you were just full 8. Okay.
I'm going to think 15.
I was going to say 15 too. Yeah.
Okay, maybe light. We're okay though.
Gonna have to go to get this for shot. Not gonna happen. It's gonna come up well short, but it will be a point, and with a 6-point lead, I think we're gonna see the handshakes. We are. So Charlie Thomas and Kaylin Park, the defending champions, pick up a win in their opening draw. And still a few games left in play here, so we'll turn our attention right next door to sheet 5.
They're just coming home too.
And we should see them running out of rocks here quickly.
Saskatchewan's Marlies Kasner, Dustin Keltoff playing Lisa Menard and Ray Baker. Again, a story of how teams can sort of come back. Dustin and Marlies got off to an early 6-0 lead, but Menard and Baker chiseled back to make it 6-3, but then Dustin and Marlies looks like they've picked up points in the 7th and 8th ends to take a commanding 5-point lead into the 8th.
Menard and Baker, husband-wife couple, and they played last year. They were the Manitoba champions last year in Ottawa, and I think they played in both of the, or a couple of the spiels that were held this year as well. Of course, there was a little bit more focus on the event this year now that it's into the Olympics, and we haven't talked about that yet, but going forward, that was one of the things that was discussed last night. Everything starts from square one as far as that Olympic trial process. There are only going to be 8 teams in the Olympics, and they know that Korea is one of them. So every country's at the same point right now. So we've got the next 2 years. Right now, Canada's not even guaranteed a spot in the Olympics. They've got to finish in the top 7 over the next 2 years.
No, that's certainly new pressure for Canada to be even considered not to be in an Olympic medal event. So lots of pressure on the Curling Canada high-performance coaches to make sure that Canada, at the very least, qualifies for the Olympics.
Well, it's a different game when you, well, it's a different game overall, but it's a different game at the world level, and you know, even the same as what we're playing here. You play a round robin through the first part of the event, and then you go to a single elimination draw where you're back in the quarterfinals to start. Canada has actually only medaled once in world play. It was a bronze medal.
Again, though, frequently finishing at the top of the pile
They
there
do
in
well
the round
robins,
robin,
but it only
lose
takes
the
one
quarter.
bad game after that, or one hot team playing against you. And
So
it's not always
Dustin
traditional powerhouses.
Keltoff looking to remove 2 or 3 yellow rocks, but most importantly got the center guard.
He'd have taken 2. If he could have gotten 2, it would have been handshakes.
So Dustin had won the provincial championship with partner Sherry Anderson, but Sherry is off in Digby, Nova Scotia at the senior ladies and has chosen or opted, or it worked out where Marlies Kasner was available to come curl in this competition. Fortunate here in Saskatoon with lots of qualified, excellent super curlers here to pick up a partner. But again, they're working through brand new communications here and clearly off to a very good start. I know they've been practicing, but that's still not the same as being in competition.
And the little tap there, nice Ray had to bring that into the rings. And so Dustin just needs to make 1 yellow go away here.
So, of course, Marlies, the lead on Stephanie Lawton's team, but Marlies herself, back in their junior career, was outstanding Skip World Junior champion.
And makes the hit, removes that top stone, and that'll be handshakes. Team Saskatchewan picks up the win here in their opening draw. So we'll quickly move across to sheet 2. Coming home here, and it is...
if we get a chance to look at this scoreboard on sheet 2, this has been a crazy game. Desjardins from Quebec opened up with a 5-ender against Sherry Just and Derek Samagalski. All of a sudden, it's 9-7 for Sherry and Derek. So we talked about how big ends are a possibility. We've talked about comebacks are very real. And this game, just to me, epitomizes what mixed doubles is all about. You're never out of it, and it's never secured till you've thrown that final stone.
Well, and the Desjardins, of course, that's another former national champion, and they had managed to just good management or good luck, one or the other. They'd managed to save their power play here for this final end. So needing to score 2, and a big hit there, removing a lot of red granite.
Good catch by Sherry. There were rocks flying over there from Derek's shot there, and Sherry just in time caught a rebound off the board so that we didn't have a terribly messy situation. But Derek from Reed Carruthers' team was facing an awful lot of red rocks there. So
with 4 stones in the rings, it was looking pretty good for Desjardins to score perhaps enough points to win here. They still need a deuce to tie, and they do have that set up.
And Sean, you are very familiar with Derek's partner here as Saskatchewan mixed doubles champions. Sherry and Sean won last year's championship here in Saskatchewan and went off to the Nationals.
Yes.
And then Sean, I think you were quite happy to come back up to the broadcast booth.
Yes, from the minute I found out we were hosting this here, I was more interested in broadcasting. It is. I heard a lot of people tell us how fun it was to watch, but I'll tell you what, getting up and chasing after my own rock to sweep it was not my idea of fun. Now, again, with the rule change this year, you could have the other player sweep a bit, but
Sherry and Derek have played before. When Sherry knew she had to go look for a new partner with the retirement of Sean Joyce, she has Manitoba roots and background. She's from Winnipeg once upon a time. So she called out to Derek, whom she knew from living there previously, and Derek really enjoys the mixed doubles. And I believe he was in a bond mixed double spiel with his daughter, and they won. And could have come with his daughter. There's something there that, but it still worked out for Sherry and Derek to reunite, so to speak, and bring their team here.
Well, this has gotten inside the line on this real early. They weren't looking for the double. They just need to make this go
this
away.
Looks like a complete.
It's going to go right by.
Allowing a draw for 3 in the win. I don't know if Sherry slid a little tight on that, but
well, Sherry's capable of throwing really big weight. When they put where they had sort of indicated they were going to throw, I thought she was going to be throwing a little harder than that.
But what a wild and crazy game with 3 enders and 5 enders. Steals of 2, you name it, this game's seen it.
Well, even this end has swung back and forth. 4 red rocks in the rings. Derek makes a lot of them go away. You go from it looks like this game could be over to it looks like it could be an extra end to now, once again, if
an open
she
draw
could hit the rings anywhere in the paint, this game's over. Well, nothing out of the brush yet. She's not light. And now starts to fudge down a little bit, loses the handle a bit, and will come to rest. Might have bit the 4, does pick up 3 points, so Robert and Emily Desjardins pick up the win in their opening game. A bit of a heartbreaker there probably for Sherry Justin and Derek Samagalski.
What an emotional roller coaster when you give up 5 in the very first end and fight to not only get back into the game, but to take a good-sized lead and then to give that all up in one end.
Still 2 games just coming home. Pardon me, 1 game coming home, and looks like we're going to have another extra end. So we'll turn our attention to sheet 6, where they're just finishing up the 8th.
The other game that just finished up was sheet 7. Aaron Porter and Corey Shue were playing Joanne Courtney and Reed Crothers. And
the last stone was just delivered. I think we're going to have a measurement here, and this determines whether or not we've got an extra end.
Right, and in the last game, Reed Crothers was drawing against one to avoid going into the extra, but put the rock on the 4-foot. So they won that game 7-5. So Sean, you get your wish here.
We'd get our first look at the laser if they'd get out of the way. You can just see the laser shooting around, and it gives a digital readout. So as much as it was rare to see a blank end with the measuring stick, it should be virtually impossible now. So it is.
2 Ontario teams playing each other.
I thought he tapped the red one indicating it was shot, which would mean they're going to an extra end. It must have been yellow, because they shook hands. So Kim and Wayne Tuck,
former Canadian champions also,
will pick up the 8-6 victory there. And they were setting up for an extra end on 7, but it looks like that one was actually final. So that means all of the games here in this draw are final. We will remind everybody that draw 3 coming up. The schedule time is 1:30 local time. They should be close. They should be close. We may have made up that time in one draw. And we'll let you know what the standings look like when we get back at 1:30.